Hi, this is Canadian folk singer Jesse Ferguson, and today I'm going to show you how I play the traditional Scottish song Auld Lang Syne, which is traditionally played around, at New Year's Eve. And this is just the way I play it. If you're interested, I will post the lyrics and the chords in the description of this video on how I play it. And you can also click on my complete version of the song, which is available on YouTube. It's a very popular song, and this is the way I do it. The basic chords are going to be D, A, and G. So there's only 3 chords on the song. It's very simple. You'll see that my strum pattern maybe is a bit complex for beginners, which this video is for absolute beginners pretty much. It's such a simple song that you could probably figure it out if you're an advanced guitarist. But it certainly is doable for beginners as well, the way I play it. I'm not a very complicated guitar player. So, whenever I play these the D and the A chord, though, I do a sort of what's called a suspended version of the chord, which in my mind, it may be incorrect, means that you leave off some fingers. So basically, if you play your D in the standard way, which would be these 2 fingers in the 1st fret and the 2nd fret, and this one in the 3rd, in a sort of triangular shape. Whenever I play it the suspended way, I leave my middle finger up. Now, if you don't want to do that, it's fine. I like the sound of it as suspended like that, and periodically I put that finger back on, just as a means of ornamentation. Now, likewise for the A chord, you would normally play all 3 fingers, at least in this configuration, the most common configuration, all 3 fingers stacked in the 2nd fret. But I leave off the ring finger again. And it's a sort of suspended version. So here's the full, here's the suspended. I just like that sort of open, sort of airy sound that you get that way. The G is a sort of standard G. I put on my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. Some people don't do that. Don't worry about that. If your habit is just to play the G chord with 3 fingers, that's fine. So those are the 3 chords. As I said, you can print off, just cut and paste my version of the lyrics and the chords. You can just cut and paste them into a Word file and print that off, or put it on your phone, or whatever you want to do. So why don't I just run through the chorus, a verse once, and then I'll slow it down and show you how the strum pattern works. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my Joe, for Auld Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness here for Auld Lang Syne. Okay, so that's a verse and a chorus. So it's the same pattern throughout the entire song, like most folk songs. The pattern is just repeated over and over for the number of verses that you care to do. Now, my version has the Scots dialect lyrics. If you prefer, you can look up on Wikipedia or somewhere else a modernized English version of the song. You can still play the chords in the same way. Someone will have just modernized the spellings. So instead of saying my Joe, which is the old Scots term for my buddy or my friend, they change it to my dear, which sort of introduces a sort of, is this a romantic song, like for a lover? But it's a song about 2 old buddies who meet together. They used to be friends, and they grew up together from the sounds of it. They were apart for a while, and then now they're back together and sharing a drink and remembering. Auld Lang Syne means basically old time's sake, or so long ago, the fond memories and so on. So that's what the song is about. Very appropriate for New Year's Eve when you're with your friends and your family, remembering all the good stuff that went on last year, and looking forward to next year and so on, having a drink with them. So anyway, the strum pattern, most beginning guitarists, whenever they pick up guitars, they just strum the whole series of strings. You can do that, but technically you get better sound if you only strum the strings that are actually involved in the chord, rather than the whole series. You're strumming sort of dead notes here. Now, if you tune your guitar differently, you can make those into drone strings, like open tunings and so on. But really, you should try to, as you advance as a guitarist, to seek out the bass note of each chord. Now, the bass note, bass being the lower sounds, right? I'm all about the bass, no trouble. What you want to do is strike that bass note for each chord. And then you're only activating the notes that are actually involved in that chord, rather than dead noise or white noise. So what you do is you find for each chord what the bass note is. For the D chord, not surprisingly, the note that's the bass for it is the open D string. So third from the top, E, A, D, right? So you just pluck that one note right now. You're making your D chord down here. Just flat pick that note. You'll notice that I anchor my fingers on the fretboard here, on the pick guard, so that I can precisely find that bass note. You could also rest the heel of your hand on the bridge if you wanted to find that bass note. But you're not going to free float around and then easily find that bass note. With this kind of strumming, you want to anchor it somewhere and pick out that bass note. So as I pluck in there, I don't pull the pick away after. I just leave it where it is. After it strums over that bass note, it's already there. It's poised between the two strings, and I strum the rest after. So, bass note, strum. They're both downward motions. Bass note, strum. Now, the strum pattern for this one is what? So each chord has a bass note associated with it, right? So for the D chord, it's the D string open, so the third from the top. For the A chord, it's not surprisingly, it's the A string open, so second from the top. So again, so starting from D, we two wandered around the brae. Back to the D, pound downs, and then for the G, the bass note is the low E string on third fret, right? So it's the lowest note you can possibly get out of that G chord you're playing. And then towards the end, you just strum Auld Lang Syne. Incidentally, any Scots person will hang you if you say Syne. Auld Lang Syne. It's Auld Lang Syne, which I find hard to differentiate that when I'm singing it. But anyway, if you want to please the Scots in your audience, say sine, like the sine curve in math, or sine wave. So again, let's run through it again at slow speed. So the strum pattern is down on the bass note. So down, strum the bottom, the ones after the bass note. So bass note, down, down, up, 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 bass note, no, strum, 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 and those are all three down, right? So you can pause the video, go back and play that over, but that's the pattern. It's bass note, down, down, up, 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 strum, strum, strum. So let's do that at speed now, and I'll sing it with you. Should old acquaintance be forgotten and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgotten and Auld Lang Syne? You'll notice that sometimes I omit the up. I do old acquaintance we forgot and never brought. So sometimes the up, so it's bass note, down, down, up. Sometimes that's a very light up or non-existent. Maybe that's just sloppy playing, but that's the way I do it. In other words, that up is less important than getting to the next chord on time. So sometimes if you press for time, like playing the song a little faster, you might omit that last strum up. So, but the two downs are important. Ever brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot, and Auld Lang Syne, should Auld Lang Syne, my joy, Auld Lang Syne. We'll take a cup of kinds, yeah, of Auld Lang Syne. So that's the whole song, basically. So again, down on the bass note, down, down, and it's just a slight up, I guess. You can emphasize it if you want to, but the real trick is to get where you're going to the next chord quickly on the beat, right? Rather than falling behind because you're really laboring on that upstroke. So that's how you play the song. Again, you can click on my link to the full version and play along with me. I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. And happy strumming and Happy New Year to you.